Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Archery at Home with your host, British Olympian Patrick Huston. Today we're going to be doing some bow training, so I would recommend you get either a low poundage bow or a clinny band. You can do this with your own bow as well, but I'm doing it with a nice low poundage. This will be about 23, 24 at my draw length, so about 50% of the load of my actual bow. Now I'm going to be doing this with my fingers so that I can talk a little bit about finger position. I would strongly recommend you do this with an elbow sling. Please check out my YouTube channel and you can find a video on how to make one there. Or you can purchase one over the shelf. Things like the Astro Archery Shot Trainer come to mind. So we're going to start off with a little bit of warm up before we get into some extended holds. You'll also need a timer. You can use a clock, a phone, or you can just follow me, which works just fine because I have my clock stood here ready and waiting, and apparently not wanting to do more than about 2 minutes without locking. But we'll get past that problem when we get to it. So start off with the clinny band, and we're just going to pull down from above. I'm going to double this up, a little bit too weak. Actually, I'm going to get a different clinny band for that exercise. So this is a lat pull down. Doesn't have to be hard, but being an Olympian, I have a fair bit of muscle. So we're just pulling the arms away from each other with our back erect, our chest up. A nice solid lat pull down. You should feel this pulling down here, down towards your hips as we do it. Very good. And now we'll go from in front of us and pull back. Now try to keep that lat feeling, that pull down, so that you have your shoulder acromial notches pulled down and away. We're not pulling up here, we're pulling down here and back. So my shoulder blades are coming together, warming up the rhomboids, the big muscles inside the shot. In a second we'll do some rotator cuff and then get on to the bow training itself. Now today I'm going to be doing 20 seconds full draw and then 30 seconds rest. It's a reasonable work intensity, so I would like you doing this with a low poundage. You don't need to be doing this with your full competition bow. You can do this just with a simple clinny band. Even holding the form for 20 seconds is a fair exercise. So at this point we're rotating around the elbow. I don't want to see pushing with the tricep. We're rotating inside the shoulder joint, hence why the muscles are called the rotator cuff, because they rotate. And then we'll do some internal. So once again, my elbow is staying pretty much in the same place and my arm is rotating internally to activate all of the muscles inside the shot. Very good. So now if you slip your elbow sling on, only do this with fingers with a light poundage bow, or use your tab with your own. But I would prefer you didn't do it fingers on your main bow for extended holds. Get my clock started. So at this point, I don't need to worry about anchor. I will probably come to anchor quite a bit, but we're just opening the bow, led from the elbow. Remember, this wrist is relaxed, this wrist is soft, this wrist is floppy, stretched out, and we're just holding that position at full draw for 20 seconds. Fairly nice, fairly easy workload. Shouldn't find it too strenuous if you're doing it with a light poundage bow, but the idea is getting things into the right position and holding that position, allowing the muscle to develop in that place, in that set of positions that we've talked about. Remember, we're pulling the shoulder down and forward to begin with. We're breaking the wrist to draw the bow, so the wrist isn't curled in towards us, rolled over wrist, down onto the lats, transferring behind us. So my wrist is stretched out. Now this you can probably see the better shape in terms of what a recurve should be, and this works for both recurve and bare bow. It's pretty much the same, just a slightly different angle of the upper arm coming out to the wrist. If I was shooting bare bow, I would probably end up with 2 fingers, or 1 finger doing, well, not very much. And down. We started that at 50. Yeah, I went over. I went to 30 seconds there. Yes, because I can do 30-second holds with my bow, it does make it very easy. So we'll have 30 seconds rest from when I just stopped, and then we'll start up the next session, the next draw. Now with the elbow sling, try and have your hand relaxed. You don't need to draw with your arm at all. This is about letting the muscles of the back work and get the strength built up into them by ignoring the muscles in between. With a cliny band, hook the fingers out, and this upward and outward movement of the bow of the body. We've never closed this angle in towards us. We're never pulling like this. It's always elbow first. So we'll do 20 seconds. 10 more seconds. 2, 1. With the elbow sling, you should find that the cables of the cord, whatever you've used, comes against your throat here, and that allows your elbow to go behind you. Talk a lot about lead from the elbow. With that rolled over, stretched out wrist, you put the elbow behind you. You don't need to create back tension. Activation of the back muscles will happen simply because your arms are in this position and there is a load applied. To retain that position, you have to have activation through the back muscles, and therefore we don't need to make tension specifically inside the shot because there's already activation from the muscles being in that position. Back tension comes from the tension in your wrist, particularly your bicep. Anytime you draw with the wrist first, you tense this internal plane inside the bicep, inside the forearm, to pull the string to the face, and then you squeeze with your back to go behind you, and you end up somewhere very square and very tight. So, wrist out, elbow up, push, up to the height of the eyes, down onto the lats, transfer behind you. Now at this point you can see quite often my fingers slipping off. That's because this is a small short bow, so the string angle is quite short, but it does show the level of relaxation inside my hand that finger can just slide off. One of the biggest things I learned through thumbing was about relaxation of the hand and the wrist, which is where this rolled over wrist comes in. Thumbing causes you to push your wrist into that position. Now we'll go up to full draw again. Wee short string angle does fit very nicely in the face. Really can fit, like I would happily shoot like a 60-inch bow because this just fits so well. I honestly really enjoy it. And down. So yeah, one of the ways to relax the wrist is to take 2.5 fingers, particularly these top two. You can have these top 2 fingers hooked in and towards you, and you make this kind of like stairs. See? So you end up with these 2 fingers pointing in and up, and your thumb stretched out that position, effectively. Height of the eyes, down into the lats, and then anchor. And at this point you can see my 2 fingers are hooked in behind it. With a cliny band this really works because the cliny band sits inside the groove of your fingers really, really nicely. Really, really works with the cliny band. You can really focus on the relaxation of the wrist whenever you're drawing with a cliny band. Really have that relaxed. And if you're working with an elbow sling, you can feel the power building up inside what's called LAN 2. I didn't call it LAN 2. This area down here, just there, that you can see driving round in behind me. Different ways of creating the same movement. Oh, my clock stopped. Now just going dark. Height of the eyes, remember the elbows always stayed up, elbow in behind me, down onto the lats, and up. At no point do you see my hand move first and the elbow follow. The elbow always goes first, and that's where the elbow sling is such a powerful tool, because it takes the hand out of the equation. You have to draw with the back, and it really helps exaggerate that feeling of line inside your body so that you can feel the force inside your front shoulder. Oh, it locked. 3, 2, 1. It's funny, you click it and then it comes back for a while and then goes off. Strange. Technology for you. Now with the front shoulder, we want to keep this activation down the lat, down the front of the body, to hold the shoulder low in its carriage. We don't want to have any leaning back with the shoulder rising up above the body. We want to be straight towards it with the shoulder pulled down and the arm low inside the shoulder joint. Which is why we push away from ourselves, elbow out, up, down, transfer. At this point you can really see my wrist rolled over. If I go into a bear bow position, that helps me get the elbow even further behind my head. So that's recurve, that's bear bow. I do have an issue with bear bow, I've hit my nose. I don't know where I'd have to sit to shoot bear bow. Maybe something like that. I don't know. Like, I can shoot nice bear bow technique, but I hit my nose. Like, I don't want to spend the whole time with my nose like taped over to one side. Bear bow people, if anybody's watching, I'd be interested in your thoughts. Such a beautiful style. Hard, like really hard to get good at. Really, really hard. Serious mental discipline required for bear bow. Taking a clicker out. My coach Richard would talk about the days before the clicker was invented, and you would have people that were, you know, grandmaster bowmen who would, or even world champions, world champs medalists, who would just get the fright. They would get target fright because they were choosing when to let go, and they'd suddenly be second class. You know, it was, yeah, very, very interesting. And then some bloke, I think he was from South Africa, came along with a clicker, this piece of metal, to tell him when to shoot. They had things like little rubber bands that you would draw past and they would flick up, so you had the draw length. And people tried flags as well, but yeah, still you were choosing when to let go. The clicker creates that as a movement, and I think within six months everybody around the world was running a clicker. So push shoulder down and in, activating the lat and the pec minor, and a bit of the pec you can use to curl it over. Elbow out, wrist relaxed. See, this position I'm in, push that all away, up, down onto the lats, elbow in behind the head, and we're in that position. And if I was shooting a bear bow, I would get a really good transfer in round behind the head. See that point there? Just increases the line from the back shoulder. Just a minute more of the 10-minute bow training session. Hopefully this has got your juices flowing a little bit, starting to build up your conditioning. Bow training is a fantastic way to build conditioning, and yeah, I'll be posting daily bow training videos from now on, getting my fitness back up to scratch. Well, not really back up to scratch, continuing my level of fitness. And anybody joining in at home, even if you do this with a lightweight Clini band, you can feel the pump, feel the muscles full of blood. Those are all the muscles active in your shot, which should give you more sensation, more awareness of where you are, where things are. We can move on to movement. We will be moving on to movement, where we come up to full draw, we get that position, and then we apply pressure. Say down into the hip, forward into the arm, back with the elbow, move the head. Moving the head's not a great one, but as long as you have a really good fixed anchor and it's all moving together. Dan Lowry shoots a bit like that. We'll do one more hold, and then that'll do us for the day. So push the shoulders away, elbow out, up to the height of the eyes, down onto the lats, transfer in and back. If I was shooting bear bow, 2 fingers just like that. Very good. Well done, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that. Feel free to watch it through again, or you can go on my YouTube page and find one of the reversals, one of the other reversals videos that I've got there. I hope you've really enjoyed this. I'd be really interested what club everybody's from. I've already had, I've had the Bowmen of Rutland invite me to their group. I've had archery clubs all around the country sharing stuff, and it's fantastic to see. It's really nice to know that the archery population's enjoying the content, hopefully learning a bit about archery and staying fit. So if you've enjoyed this, please share it with your friends, with your clubmates, and I'd love to see in the comments below the video where everybody's from. Hope you've had a great day. Cheers, guys.